back to the final countdown on the Suzuki. Still a few pieces to bolt down, but we are getting there. I think this will be the final episode. So we're starting off by just clamping in the fuel tank, which is still not leaking, I don't think. No, good. Yeah, with a ridiculous set of wobblies and wibblies, and yeah. So let's bolt that in. There she goes on a rubber mount, factory rubber mount. Yeah. And hopefully we won't have to do that again, because we had to take my my seat mounting contraption off to get to it. So that needs to go back in. And I suppose we need to put the seat back on. Did anyone notice? Yes, a little tank pad, compliments of my old MV Augusta. Yes. So we're now missing the rest of it. Oh. So with that all buttoned down, it's very tempting to put the seat on, because just it kind of completes the bike visually. But I think we need to do this next, the switch. And I'd still need to paint these front forks. Yes, which I think I showed you. I've put the Honda down on a block on the frame, so that ain't going anywhere. And I'm going to have to release it from its chains and raise the front end of this and get that wheel off with some clever masking, thanks to who? Oh, yeah, thanks to our friends at Naked Wines. Yes, cardboard and lots of paper. I shall be masking everything the hell off and spraying up those front forks in situ. And in terms of tidy up, this is the only kind of thing that remains as to what to do with that. Yeah, I mean, I am still favouring some kind of just basic blanking plate that kind of closes it all off. I don't know. Anyway, let's get the bits that we do know about done. Then we'll worry about the rest. And then there's that bit which I kind of noticed at some point, and really when I did that black panel, I should have sprayed that black as well. What was I thinking? Now it's kind of a bit late. And then there's the whole front brake cable line, which goes all over the place. Nobody ever got back to me on a 27-inch cable line, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that either. I'll leave it as it is for now. And some of you are thinking I'll probably need to tidy this up because it looks like a bloody mess. But in the interest of transparency, which I believe is the popular phrase, or just accessibility, one of the two, I'm going to kind of leave it like that. It's all labelled up so that any future owner kind of has some clue as to what's going on. And Chris is off. So I was right about the other tubes coming off the carburetor. They're just to atmosphere, and what better colour to atmosphere than blue and clear? Because apparently, what is the problem? This is a little bit long, obviously. What is the problem here in Arizona in particular? Or the high desert, is mud wasps find these particular outlets the perfect solution for nesting. Yes, because they build these little things, and if I remember, I'll overlay a picture of a mud wasp nest, because there's one at the office. I think there's one outside the front door. Anyway, so yes, so maybe we need to route this. It doesn't matter where it goes, because it's only, so maybe it comes up here, but I had an idea, because I've got a lot of these left over from these, yes, the oil catch tank. So what I could do is put one of these on the end, which would look kind of cool, if I can find a place to put them. And that would stop a wasp getting in, right? Hopefully. And as per normal for Arizona, we don't have your average wasp. No. This is the king of all wasps. It is the tarantula hawk. And yes, it's a rather nasty creature that preys on tarantula spiders. And we have other wasps that are kind of normal. Or we just run them down the inside of the frame and kind of tie them up somewhere down the bottom there. I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Yeah, so that's going down there. It's held in with that nicely. I might tie wrap it, I might not. Same over here. So I rather like my red, white and blue. Yeah, very patriotic, whichever way you look at it. Well, precarious is probably an understatement. And anyway, we are painting the forks and they're looking quite nice already. With compliments of Dewey. Thank you. Yes, I'll keep you updated on progress. And yes, I wrapped the Yamaha up in my my sleeping bag. How sweet is that? Well, I don't care about a bit of overspray. Not bad, even if I do say so myself. Just letting some fumes out. Obviously, should have done it first time around when I took the front wheel off to put the wrong size tyre on, and didn't. And I still need to sort out the tyre, I suppose. Really? Got to take the front wheel off again. Anyway, shut that door. Right, that's the front end buttoned up again, and I think, I hope you'll agree, job well done. Yeah, it looks nice. Cool. Actually, while we're on the front end, I did get in touch with some guys that, well, one finally got back to me, and I can have any length brake line that I like, and it's actually the same guy that I was going to get the yellow ones for the Yamaha and never did. Yeah, so 28 inch of red brake line will be winging its way, and then we can get rid of this this joint in the middle, this funny thing. Yeah, cool. And all this excess stuff, because, you know, obviously it went to handlebars, which were up here somewhere, and now they're down here. Yeah. So that's exciting. Well, relatively speaking, probably a 6 out of 10 on the excitement scale. So one of the last things to tackle on the Suzuki is the kill switch and the starter button, which we've all got ready up here. But we have 3 wires going in, which is kind of expected. So we need to unscrew this carefully. There are bound to be springs involved. Crunchy frog surprise. Somewhat ironically, it looks a lot simpler on the Yamaha, which I should probably do too, because we're about to start that up again. Yeah, I know it's been neglected, but it's just been a major pain in the arse, really. No, but the air filter's back. Well, that's all fairly clear. So we've got orange, which is the main power, going to the kill switch. And then out the other side of the kill switch, i.e. it turns the power on to the starter button. So you have no starter button without the kill switch being in the right place. And then the other one is actually the green and yellow, which probably ends up going to the starter solenoid. Probably. It might change colours several times en route. All right, so I think we've sussed that out. And actually what I'm going to do is keep this intact. There's no point in breaking off any other wiring here. So I can always refer back to it, just like I did with the fuses, if you remember rightly. So that's what I'm going to do. Yes. And I'm just going to try and emulate it with our new switches. Recreate the same thing. So the beauty of this is there's that connector there, which hopefully will come undone quite easily. That one there, wiggling around. And so I'm going to give myself a bit of scope, cut it off about here, which is plenty. And yeah, then start wiring it up, see what happens. And on the other front, I've got an idea for here, covering up that shit. Yes. Okay, let's go. Snip that bastard. Out. And again, up here. And thanks to this handy connector, as long as I get it back in the right way around, we can do all this remotely. Well, not remotely, because obviously we've got to tie it in with those boys there. But at least we're not going to be faffing around inside here somewhere. We can work outside and then plug it back in again. Yeah, and then on here we've got the orange and white coming both from the main loom and then back from this switch, which is effectively giving power to it by completing the circuit. One would hope. Anyway, so in theory, we need one connection to the orange. Excuse that, I shaved a bit of plastic off, so I just recoated it, or one of those. And we're going to put the orange and white in here, and we're going to take that to the kill switch and then back to... I'm getting confused now. Yes, amidst all that mumbo jumbo, I actually got it worked out. I replicated the whole thing. So blue is basically the orange and white, and red is the starter button. And first time I hooked it all up, I got absolutely nothing. And guess why? Yes, because I forgot to plug that back in. Yes, and I got nothing. And it's like, really? And yeah, of course. Duh. Anyway, let me show you. Key. Kill switch. There you go. And it's trying to start, which is beautiful. You heard it trying to fire. No choke, but yeah. So, and kill switch off. And nothing. Sweet. Not as stupid as I look. I guess the only problem, if there is one, with this solution, and it's a beautifully sweet solution, right? Just one bunch of really nice, simple switches on one handlebar. Yes, and it's the left handlebar. So somehow you got to hit that and operate the choke, which is that thing there. That there. Yeah, and the throttle all at the same time, or maybe not the throttle. Let's try that, shall we? Not now. Anyway, that choke clearly had some kind of operational, more customer friendly operational device, because there is way back in there somewhere. There is a thing for a cable. So there was obviously a cable that came out and sat here somewhere, or sat up here on the handlebars, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, some kind of good old-fashioned choke knob. Yeah, like this. If you're as old as me, you'll remember them. If you're not as old as me, I probably lost you at choke, right? And if you're going to Google it, you probably want to put the parental warning on. Little bit of fine tuning going on, and they're still not quite even, but what I noticed was that this, which obviously I guess protrudes more than anything over this side anyway, this was knocking on the fuel tank, and we don't want to damage that lovely paint any more than it already has been. So yeah, so just had to push that forward a little bit, that kind of motion, which just involved undoing those bolts in there. Yeah, those ones. That just leaves the brake line replacement, nice bright red one, which is on its way, as I said, tidying up the wiring a little bit, and the solution to the gap. Mind the gap. Yes, that gap. Yes, we have a solution, possible solution coming. Oh yeah, and I've got to do that wiring properly as well. And I'm going to hardwire the starter and the kill switch in rather than any connectors or whatever. I'm going to meld them together. All done. I think it's almost time to take this baby for a test ride, but maybe not tonight. Certainly sounds good and it's running good on those pod air filters. Rev counter seems worse than useless. Bear in mind, I've never even ridden this damn bike. Yeah, I just tore it apart and put it back together again. Kind of. Only better. So, what else turned up today? Bang on time, actually. Yes, my sexy red brake line. Beautiful quality product, actually, I have to say. Complete with everything you need and perfect length as ordered. So it'll fit there nicely. So that's a job for tomorrow. Thoroughly recommend Ven Hill. Look them up on eBay. If you need a brake line, they'll produce it to whatever length with custom fittings at whatever angle you need. Great guys. Super helpful people, and no matter how stupid you are, they'll ask all the right questions to give you exactly what you need. So yeah, so this was a custom deal. I told them what it was for. Perfect. Stage one of putting our new brake cable in is to release the fluid. I did catch it in the tank, but actually it wasn't even worth catching. And it was slightly discolored again, so actually it's just another flush of the system, honestly. So that's not a bad thing. It was a little low. The actual level was low, which is a little disconcerting. I'm not convinced that isn't leaking, which wouldn't be a total surprise. Bit disappointing though. So that's the other business end freed and loose. Yep. And as you may remember, why we're doing this is because they both come down to this kind of unnecessary connection thing in the frame. So we'll be getting rid of those. And of course, they're all different size bolts. There's 14mm at the wheel end and a 12mm at the handlebar end. So place your bets on what it is on the weird connector. 13 maybe? I don't know, I don't care, I'm well prepared. I've got everything in between. Wasn't quite prepared enough, needed a ring spanner. Yeah, it was slightly burred, so needed that to get it off. Or a box spanner, as the Americans call it, which is, does that look like a box? No, it looks like a ring. Anyway, I'm going to be keeping these because there's nothing wrong with them, despite the fact, well, actually, I don't think they are original to the bike. That looks quite new. So there's some good brake lines which might come in handy, and they've got these lovely supportive things to stop kinks. So I will be keeping those as spares. You never know when they might come in handy. Anyway, let's get our sexy new red thing on. Yeah. And fitting new copper washers as recommended and suggested by Ven Hill, who made these marvellous lines in the first place. Really, monkey's helping. Yeah, so it turns out I could have probably gone a couple of inches shorter, possibly, but it's always better to have a little more than a little less. So I'm just going to have to work out how to route that so it turns out quite nice, but it's not bad. Following up the fault there. We'll see what happens. Hey, monkey. So that's all fitted up and partially bled. I've left it with the old zip tie on the handlebars overnight. Trick to build up a little bit more pressure, and then we'll finally bleed them tomorrow or whenever I get around to it. So this arrived today, and it's the solution for covering up all the mess behind the headlights, which isn't there anymore because they're down there. So yeah, I think that'll do the job nicely. Might even make a sticker to fit it. And yeah, now I've got no excuse for finishing off the electrics and tidying it up, putting the seat on and getting it out there. Well, I know it doesn't look a lot prettier, and it is going to be concealed by our new number plate, whatever the hell. But it is significantly tidied and bound up. It's almost like triage with bandages, which thankfully I have, well, I don't know, thankfully, I have good knowledge of, thanks to my dear grandma, who was a nurse in the Blitz. Yes, she was. And there's her badge. The reason I have good knowledge of her bandaging skills is because she patched me up several occasions when I fell off my motorbikes at an early age. One particular incident, I scraped my knee all the way through to the bone. Nasty. I won't show you the scars, just in case you're squeamish, boy. Lining these up is, yeah, quite the game, soldiers. As you can see, I mean, they're both sat on the bottom fork rest. Anyway, just getting them to point straight and be even is kind of interesting. Having to do it by eye, can't see any way of kind of measuring it without all kinds of geometry. Well, that's a general idea. Halos are burning, and yeah, that kind of works. Well, these arrived today, and they're all maybe just a little bit too small. Crying out for that. As was this. So the idea of the other ones is for the forks, but I'm not sure I like the black surround, and I have got some others coming, so I'll wait until they arrive. Meantime, we fitted this, which arrived, and we have a sticker coming for that too. So that's rather nice. That kind of tidies up the front end there. It's all coming together. The only reason I haven't put the seat on is because I don't want to get dog hair all over it. And I have a cover coming. So I think what we're going to do with this episode is tie it up when the final stickers arrive and we bolt the bike back up together completely. And I think we're going to do another episode on a review of the whole project and a little test drive. For a small one, yeah, it'd be rude not to, really. Well, I thought I'd put my beautiful seat back on the GS, and yeah, guess what? The glue is not as strong as the Velcro, so the seat came off the pad, not the pads. You know what I'm trying to say. Ah, well, never mind. Well, there it is in all its glory. I don't know, I think it looks pretty sexy, actually. Yeah, how about that? That is cool, isn't it? Eh? Yeah. And we're lit up for braking. Yeah. Excellent. Nice. Wow, there it is. And that's about that wrapped up. Except I've ordered another. Well, I haven't actually. I can't. I'm waiting to order another one of these little number plates to put on the side as the final finishing touch. But I think that's a wrap, apart from the front tyre. And I think that's a wrap for this episode. Yeah, officially wrapped. Yes. So there's the Suzuki all done and dusted. Well, actually, it's not dusted. I'm going to dust it down after I put on that final number plate, and then I think we'll take it for a little test drive. Yes, so that'll be next episode. So do tune in. We'll review everything that we've done on it and why we did it, and whether I'd do it again. Or otherwise, but thanks for watching as usual, and remember to subscribe down here. Yes. And what else? Oh yeah, encourage others to watch my lunacy.